We are live, guys. It's Friday, the July 17th. Welcome to the Instantly Show, the daily show on AI go-to-market and the strategies driving real revenue growth. Today we have a few very interesting news. We're gonna go over them pretty fast because we're gonna be speaking with Sonke Vinyakup, the founder of Platinum Agency, which sent up to 3 million cold emails a year for B2B clients before getting acquired this year. So congrats to him. We're gonna also talk about this. He went from the SDR to sales director, closed over $1 million as an account executive, and now certified experts, obviously, with Instantly, HeyReach, and dozens of other platform. So we're going to talk about what he does right now because he has 26,000 followers on LinkedIn, and he is actually a big advocate for the LinkedIn content. So we'd love to hear his thoughts on LinkedIn versus cold outreach. But before the guest, we have Fireworks hitting $17.5 billion valuation, Meta killing its brand new AI feature after just 3 days, and robots fighting in a cage for $1.4 million championship. Now, we do not have any sports news today for all of you guys, sport fans, because we're going to be waiting tomorrow the World Cup finals, soccer in the US. So whoever you're rooting for, Spain or Argentina, good luck to you. Now, Fireworks AI just announced a $1.5 billion Series D at a $17.5 billion valuation, and they crossed $1 billion in annualized revenue. So basically, Fireworks help companies take open models, train them on their own data, and run them fast, cheap, at scale. Cursor coding model and Harvest Legal AI that we have actually reviewed last week are both run Fireworks. It's just to show you that this is the future, especially for the companies who are using a lot, the tokens to save the money and train their own secure models. The meme of the day is the interesting one, really, because it's not necessarily, like a meme, but rather a video that I want to show you where the technology is coming. So Buddy broke his head. What is happening is this is the URKL that is happening in Shenzhen, the world's first humanoid robot fighting league. The competition actually kicked off recently. 32 university teams, including Stanford, fighting for a gold championship belt over $1.4 million. And look, I mean, we've all been seeing the robot fighting, right? This feels closer to what we have been, all expecting from the movie. I can't remember the name, with Hugh Jackman. It was like a great movie. We're close, guys. 3 to 5 years, This is going to be very interesting. Now they're like jumping, flip kicking, jumping kicks back to, shout out to Conor McGregor. It looks like weird because it cannot like position perfectly in front of the opponent. But again, we are going to go there very, very soon. The drop of the day is the biggest model news of the week. Kimi K3 is out from the Chinese lab. The specs are monsters. 2.8 trillion parameters, a 1 million token context window, native multimodal, and built for long horizon agentic coding. Open weights are coming July 27th, meaning anyone would be able to download and use that. Look, the world going crazy right now because the Arena, the blind testing platform where real people vote on model outputs without knowing which model made them, already ranks Kimi K3 #1 in front-end code, score 1,679 above Claude Code Fable 5 and GPT 5.6. Now, of course, there are different reports. Some of them are showing for the general test that it's below the Fable. Some of them are showing it as an above, and they are kind of go hand in hand. Very interesting. No one really expected the drop this week, but here we are. And don't forget what we've been hearing from the very big guys in the space regarding the fact that the Chinese models are less expensive, sometimes 5 to 6 times less expensive. And if they are closer to the top tier US models, this may be a problem. This may be a problem. For us as consumers, obviously, it's all good because we can enjoy the better models for cheaper prices. The controversy of the day is the Meta killing the AI feature 3 days after launching it. Muse Image, their new image model, shipped Tuesday inside Meta AI with a feature that lets users generate images using content from public Instagram accounts. They thought that it's going to be a good idea. So any public account. And it was turned on by default, right? So the backlash was instant. Some actors called it out on Instagram and told everyone to opt out. Then the actors union stepped in, quoting that, hey, this is not what we are going to be allowing. And Meta pulled the feature, right? Their statement, quote, we've heard the feedback that this feature missed the mark and it's no longer available. It's going to be, at some point, just interesting to see if they're releasing things that are automatically getting pushed back because of the privacy concerns. The take of the day actually goes to X, who is declaring a war on content thieves, and the mechanisms are worth understanding. And until now, stealing worked. And see, because the X launched their reward program where you can make money based on the engagement and get the payouts, right? What you could do is, instead of just posting a unique content, you could repost an existing viral post, put a watermark, or rewrite the post a little bit and then get paid. So obviously X doesn't really like it, so the newest grok detects duplicated content at 3 times the old rate. And instead of just deleting the stolen post, the monetized impressions get rerouted to the person who originally uploaded it. So it's very, very interesting mechanism. We'll see how that will work. Win of the day, just a shout out to Alex Turnbull. He was running Groove, a support tool that was stuck at 5 million ARR flat for 3 years. Then 18 months ago, he made a bet, rebuilt everything AI first for one specific customer, B2B companies. He spun up a completely new company around it called helpfully. So in June, they crossed $1 million in ARR. Gru funds the whole operations, and he owns 88% of it. And the pricing model is very interesting because when I first saw that, I was like, okay, I mean, you're going over help desk, help desk softwares like, for example, Freshdesk that are actively adding AI features. So where is going to be the leverage? And he was telling in this post that most told me I was crazy and I was chasing a shiny object. Shiny object because AI support is the first thing that people think when they try to build a startup, and these were actually one of the first implementations in the B2B industry. But he went to win the pricing game because the support platform itself is completely free, unlimited seats. You only pay when AI delivers an outcome, a resolved ticket, a churn alert, or an upsell signal. So just an interesting pricing model. I'm pretty sure it's a really good product and it makes sense, right? Why would you charge a flat rate if of course, you do pay for the tokens, you do pay for the hosting, but you can eat the loss for the marketing efforts instead of putting more into the marketing. The actual pricing model and the thesis behind it will be the marketing itself, and it will act as a flywheel. So you probably will make more money long term and will spend less on marketing, generating more users. But as he's saying, we'll see. I would consider it a product market fit. So just something interesting for you guys to know. Now, the last one that we have is the fail of the day, which is the Gemini 3.5. It was the launch was delayed because it was planned to launch in early July, and today the Bloomberg reports that it is a month behind the schedule because the problem is the coding area where the results fell short on internal goals even after Google refreshed the training data. So these are pretty much all the news that we are having, guys. Let me see if we are going to be having our guest right now. Okay, so I think that the Sonke is here. Today joining me, the Sonke Jakob, the founder of an agency. He came up through cold emails from SDR all the way to the sales director, then built and recently sold, congrats, his own cold email agency. Now he writes LinkedIn content for go-to-market founders and has built a following of over 26,000 people doing it. Sonke, welcome to the show. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Give me one moment. There's something wrong here. Okay. We are connecting. Okay, great. All good, all good.
Okay.
How are you doing?
Nice. I'm doing well, Eugene. How are you?
I'm great. Look, I do have a first question for you regarding the lead magnets because I've been using them very actively. When I was starting out with LinkedIn, it was 2 years ago. And I know that people got thousands of followers through them. So do you see that they are working? And do you think it's a valid way for a founder to get the initial traction?
I mean, first, congrats, growing to 20K followers in 2 years is also a very nice feat. Second is yes and no. I think it's a double-edged sword. For one, they can give you incredible growth if they get good engagement. I mean, recent successful lead magnet campaigns were, for example, from Goji Berry. I mean, now they're in YC. They got tons of engagement. They literally just copy and paste tons of their most successful lead magnets over and over again.
You're talking about LinkedIn.
Yes.
Goji Bear. Okay, this is interesting. Okay.
And again, the thing is, what can happen is that you might, and again, you might get a perception of a less premium brand if
Yep.
you
Yep.
continuously do these like giveaways. I know some people who have smaller followings. They have built a very high value brand around their business as well, and they never give away lead magnets. They never give away anything because they think, hey, it's perceived as cheap. And maybe if they give away once a year, people are like, wow, they actually release things for free. So if you want to grow, and again, like Goji Berry is, in my opinion, a very good example because I don't know how much of this growth was also accelerating their acceptance into Y Combinator. But if you look at, let's say, more mature companies in the same field like Lemlist or Heyreach, they've grown nevertheless, but they haven't done any giveaways. Yeah, so I would say do lead magnets work 100%. I myself have very rarely done any lead magnets, for example, because of the same perception. But yeah, again, it can work if done well.
I have done a lot of the lead magnets, and from a negative side, I could say that you do get the followers and you can get the pipeline deals like through
Mhm.
that, especially if you have a mechanism on the back end. For example, I was doing the lead magnets, but instead of sending them in the DMs, I was making people to subscribe to a newsletter. And this
Mhm.
way, having like something in the back end that I can use to drive the actual leads. But I noticed that if I push them too hard, my organic posts are getting kind of lower engagement. And this way, that's why I kind of started to not use them that often. It's interesting that you almost never done them. Look, you, I mean, at least from the positioning that kind of like I see
Mhm.
on you, on the company, and what you're doing right now, you transitioned from the cold email space towards the LinkedIn, right? So like you're working with the founders. And was it because you found that the LinkedIn is a better tool for a founder to get the traction, or was it something else?
Yes, great question. I mean, I know we previously talked before this recording. I mean, next week I will announce that I'm actually joining forces with a go-to-market consultancy, and they also do revenue operations, plus also some, let's say, outbound services, whether it's email or LinkedIn DMs. So I still do believe in outbound. I still also believe that this is a great way to market test and get traction, especially early on. My friend Kellen from uh, the Bay Area, for example, he's very good at like this message market fit. He kind of coined the term, in my opinion. So yeah, again, do I still believe in this? Yes, but also I see how important content fits into this flywheel. So I would never recommend to just only post content and make a living from it, even though there are, of course, hundreds of people on X or LinkedIn that have made a living
Yeah.
just purely from posting content. But especially for, let's say, founder led brands like Full and Rich, also from the Bay Area, or Clay from the East Coast. I mean, they have built so much of an audience, but also generated so much trust and thought leadership through this content that helps them, for one, in their own sales department, because these founders generate so much demand that I think supporting this, leveraging my own experience of the past 3 years creating LinkedIn content, is why I eventually made this shift. Um, to be frank with you, it's just I would say a passion thing. I really like cold email. I really like copywriting, coming up with a strategy. All of this is like tons of framework. But ultimately, I think I spend way more time reading about content, copywriting, psychology, why I, made the switch of where I am
Yeah.
actually able to make more of an impact and where a bit less, perhaps.
Got it. And look, congrats on your acquisition, on the acquisition of your agency. So that's the new chapter. So that's good. Can you give us three content ideas that you would recommend any founder to choose to, post on the LinkedIn that could get a better traction if they're starting out?
Yes. I mean, first is I would do some research if you have any competitors that do a similar service, or if you have a product that they sell a similar product. If
Let's
they
say they don't.
already,
Let's say they do have the competitors, but none of them
Mhm.
are posting content.
Yeah, I mean, then I would still see, okay, in which box do I fit? So let's say I have a SaaS for, I don't know, some super niche SaaS, and there's no competitor on LinkedIn. I would still look at, okay, how are other SaaS companies marketing their services? How is another SaaS founder doing it? So see, okay, probably there's always going to be some top of funnel content, which can be founder stories, how I've built the company events, all of this. But let's say I'm starting out, I have like maybe just me, I'm a solo founder. Leverage my own personal stories, because plus a photo. Plus a photo of me doing something,
Yeah.
whether it's me cooking because I like to cook, traveling, whatnot. But these posts, I mean, you've probably done some of them yourself. They just generate so much traction and engagement. Doesn't mean they generate any leads, but they definitely build you a following, which is already something, because yeah, people say going viral is not needed and important, but at the end of the day, if you still go viral and there's still a small percentage going into your sales funnel, then it's still valid. Um, the second part, I mean, if we have the top of funnel, then the second part in the middle of funnel is anything where I think, okay, which might be, and again, take maybe if you have already some customer transcript calls, what do they talk about? What kind of problems do they face? Boom. That's pretty much all it is. Take the problems and start educating people around how to solve these problems. Obviously, make sure to not give away everything, because then you end up maybe not getting any clients, because everyone can just self-serve their problems from your LinkedIn posts. But nevertheless, take their problems, and if you don't have any transcript calls, man, just ask Claude, do some sparring,
Yeah.
and get to, okay, what kind of ICP might what kind of problems might my ICP have? Then you are able to create some middle of funnel content from it. It doesn't have to include like any visuals, but if you can create some visuals around it, whether it's workflows or an overarching problem that support it, or that support how to solve it, great. If not, and you're very short on time, man, just take another photo of yourself, honestly, because people will still read the context if it's well. And the third is, if you have any testimonials, please take these testimonials. If they're written, best if they're recorded, and you follow a framework that you ask every single client of yours. Dump it down into a testimonial post. If you have a video, even better. Push it alongside. You don't have to do it every so often, because these testimonial posts usually get not the greatest engagement, but it's still for the people who are already following you, maybe because of your first post, maybe because you educated them on their problems and helped them to show, okay, I have also helped some other people solve that problem, and here's the proof. So these three types of content I would always go with. And honestly, if you have zero time to create anything on LinkedIn, if you have any time to create any visuals, you're super spread thin, just take photos of yourself. And for the testimonial post, just take text.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be overly complicated to get started with this.
have you found that people on LinkedIn consume more information right now compared to, let's say, 2024? I'll explain, because a lot of people make jokes, especially on the X, to the guys that are posting in the LinkedIn, because, of course, LinkedIn is the business driven platform, and it was always like that. And if founders, other founders, other people think about, oh, like, where can I learn something? Usually they go to, Instagram, depending on, their feed. They go to the X, they go to the YouTube, not necessarily on the LinkedIn. Did you see in the recent years that the switch is kind of like started to happen? Do you consume more information on LinkedIn compared to the years prior?
I mean, I've been, I think, steadily consuming equally much in the last 3 years. But there's been, for example, if you open up LinkedIn.com without being logged in, it already gives you a new like area which pretty much says, "Hey, top content to explore." Which is, in my opinion,
Okay.
already one very, very obvious shift that it gets into this direction of Instagram, YouTube, like recommended videos, recommended content. That maybe LinkedIn is already preparing for a shift to become maybe some sort of educational platform. I mean, they definitely have the amount of members to compete with school,
Yeah.
etc. But again, this is all theory. I have no insider news
Okay.
of LinkedIn, but nevertheless, people post more on LinkedIn. It's also why I think it gotten a bit harder. When I started posting 3 years ago with less followers, it was super easy to get like a post with 8K, 10K impressions. And now you have to definitely work a bit harder to get to these numbers. Still not impossible, and there's still posts that can get a crazy amount of ROI and pop super hard. But in general, there's more competition, which is great, but there's also so much more noise. So I think, yeah, without going into it too deep, people post more on LinkedIn. The shift is real, but also I like to learn things on LinkedIn because it's so niche and so fast moving, especially in the GTM space, that there is nothing on YouTube. I love learning with YouTube personally. It's in my opinion the way where I go to if I want to learn something new. But in this GTM space specifically, or AI go to market space, there's so much happening so fast. In within 2 days, it can already be outdated, but you can still read the post, save the post, and still do something with it. But of course, for anyone on YouTube, I mean, there's still some people like Patrick Norostovsky from Growth Engine X who still posts really good YouTube videos explaining lots of the things happening. I think he's one of the guys who I would still look up to if I wanted to learn more in this space. But yeah, without going here too fast, I hope that answers your question.
It does. It does. It does. Thank you for that. I want to ask you a very important question, and be careful with an answer, because we have a smart audience. This audience uses AI a lot. Do you personally believe that right now, in July 2026, you can build your own agent that can write posts better than the world class copywriters and ghostwriters?
I would have to ask one more question. Is
Sure.
it I would hire a ghostwriter to write posts for myself, or if I would be able to write a post with AI equally good?
So let's say you're a founder and
Mhm.
you have two options. You can find and hire the world class ghostwriter, versus you have a very deep knowledge into the agentic world, and you can spend some time making sure that it's going to be perfect and it's going to give the best outputs it can. So do you think that it will be better than the human, or equal, or worse?
Okay, definitely the ghostwriter because he has more strategy and experience. I would say in terms of the quality and the reach it will probably get, it will be one from the one who knows the social media platform inside out, who has been writing content for other founders. Because again, in my opinion, what most founders lack is, of course, for one, we have the time constraint, but the second is, even if you have lots of knowledge, you still need to put this into writing or also into visuals in a good way. And this is where yes, a tool can advise you. I mean, there's tons of writing tools, Scribe, Magic Post, etc., or even Claude, where you can kind of like get an idea. But you would still have to be able to, okay, which post of these 10 ideas is actually better? So distilling, I mean, knowledge-wise, the founder is always going to win, because the ghostwriter is someone who comes from an external space, most of the time has less industry knowledge, if maybe they're super lucky and they've worked in their man perfect. But the ghostwriter will be still able to take the information from the founder and distill it into content that gets more traction and eventually gets them also more conversations with his clients. That's how I would see it.
What I'm hearing from you is a founder has the knowledge. So you have something to share with the world. You can put it in the writing. Let's say you don't have the skills to do it yourself, or you don't have the time.
Mhm.
Do we agree with the fact that the LLM can do this really good? So it can put the knowledge into the writing in different formats.
Mhm.
But deciding which format to choose based on a platform where you're choosing it to get the higher engagement is where this leverage that ghostwriters or agencies have that work with multiple businesses. Am I hearing it correctly?
100%. I mean, I, for example, have no idea about X. I would always ask pros, how do I post on X? Because posts on X are so different to LinkedIn posts. Same with YouTube. No idea about YouTube. I mean, YouTube is a whole nother level because there's so much more to it. But also, same here. No idea how to grow on YouTube. No idea how to actually choose which format. You could give me 10 ideas and I would be like, okay, so which one is the best? So that's how I always apply it to everyone who comes to me for help on LinkedIn, because I don't have the context, but I have the knowledge on how the platform works, because I keep consuming content and keep being active on there. But you can definitely, especially if you're, let's say, a super technical founder, and you can just build your tone of voice. You take 10 of your call transcripts, you scrape some of your newsletter articles, whatever you wrote and put into writing. If you want to have it more conversational, just take your WhatsApp transcript from the conversation of your best friend, and you have already some tone of voice. And then, so nating the tone of voice, also no problem. But again, which posts, which ideas, how does it go out? This is still something that, again, where people can, if they can afford external help, definitely get additional value, in my opinion, from it, than if they just, do it themselves. Because everyone can nowadays get 2 or 3 posts out every day, and all 2 or 3 posts, I'm pretty sure they aren't going to be super bad, especially if you have trained like your tone of voice.
Yeah.
But they will still probably not slap as hard if you have a ghostwriter who writes you 3 great posts per week. But on the other side, you have this guy, I don't know, I think of this SpongeBob episode where you have Neptune, who's cooking like 1,000 hamburgers in 30 minutes. And on the other side, you have SpongeBob, who takes 30 minutes for 1 hamburger. And at the end of the day, what tastes better? And I mean, in the SpongeBob episode, it's very obvious. No one likes Neptune's hamburgers, but that's how I see it. If founders actually think, oh, I can just rip out 100 content pieces in, I don't know, a 2-hour Claude code session. Nice, but like if it performs great, but most of the time what I see, it doesn't. People can clearly see that it's still not fully human made content after all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting take. And back to your agency, I'm just curious because I've seen that you've been sharing that you've capped to 5 clients at a certain point, and would love to know why. And did your agency was acquired when you had, like, 5 clients, like a smaller number of clients? Why not go bigger, right? Why not to continue developing it? So maybe you saw something within the industry, maybe it's just a personal preference on where you want to go, because I know that a lot of founders after a certain stage considering doing the exit, and would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yes. So first, no, there wasn't any client absorption happening. So I was basically offboarding all my clients, but there was this knowledge transfer, plus like some more things that were part of the acquisition. Why I kept it at 5 clients? Because I always wanted to work and I still want. I mean, that's what I'm also going to do in the new company that I've joined. Is very high engagement, high touch, where no one gets handed down to a junior, like a not so experienced employee, let's say, which happens in lots of agencies. And I always told my clients that they work with me, they work exclusively with me, and if I need some external help, let's say advanced list building, someone has to scrape like some websites for me, because again, I'm not like super technical, then I would always hire like contractors, but they still got to work with me over and over again. And yeah, I don't know, those 2 questions.
I got it.
Or was there a third?
This answers them. Again, look, I mean, that's also partially my story because I have sold my own agency like a month ago.
Mhm.
So I was acquired. I mean, I get pretty lucky because we landed the very fatty clients in the first month of running the company, because like we were very early on the AI adoption, and we were actually acquired because of the clients, right? So because the company that bought us up has like a tool stack to upsell and restructure the deal that we had with these guys, and it wasn't a big exit, but I was going through a lot of different things in my head on like where I would want this to be. So this is something very interesting. And a follow-up question that I would have to you: would you ever give up on a dream of becoming an entrepreneur for a role at a very big frontier company like OpenAI or Anthropic?
I mean, I would definitely not even go this far for only Anthropic or OpenAI. In my opinion, if they're, I mean, for example, right now, I mean, I've just joined a new company, and I'm pretty much dropped my entrepreneurial endeavor, which I was pursuing for the past 3 years, which already wasn't an easy decision. I mean, to be honest, I had so many mind games like, man, I'm a founder. What the hell? What are people going to think? And so many other thoughts. But ultimately, it was for several reasons, because I know the people I will work with are in some areas much smarter than me. I'm able to learn a lot and a lot faster than if I would just continue to, I don't know, yeah, watch YouTube videos, etc. Plus, I'm able to work more in my zone of genius, because as a founder, you have to do so many things all at once, which is fun on one side, especially if you always want to do different things and you can play around. But at the end of the day, what I was really going for was having the chance to learn and be again in my zone of genius. So if there is a company, and again maybe this is the company where I'm happy to be part of for the next years, if we are able to continue to do great work together, then yes, for sure. I mean, if you have asked me 3 years ago, I would have said no, I will always be an entrepreneur. But I would also not say, okay, I will never be an entrepreneur again. Maybe, I mean, you never know. You have an idea and you pursue your idea and you see it, and then I just know from inside out. Of course, I'm brave enough. I've already done it before, so I think once you've done it, you know how it can work again and again. And I think every entrepreneur is a bit delusional in a sense, but in a healthy sense, because otherwise we would all not start any businesses, and OpenAI and Anthropic wouldn't even exist. But yeah, long story short, 100%. I mean, 100% for the right company, happy to give it up. Probably, I mean, again, I can't foresee the future if it's in 2 years or 3 years when I would maybe do something else. But for right now, yes, I can see myself quitting the entrepreneurial path.
Great answer. Great answer. For everyone's listening, if you go right now in the description, there is a link as well as a coupon code that you can apply to get the 10% off of your first instantly purchase. Also, like and subscribe. We are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, and X to get more content like this. Now, Sonke, back to you. I do have a blitz, which is me asking questions pretty fast, and you reply fast or expanding on your answer. You ready?
I'm ready.
LinkedIn or cold email?
LinkedIn.
Human ghostwriter or AI, but in 2 years?
Human ghostwriter.
Can you right now spot an AI written post if it was a well written and the LM is well trained?
No.
Best post format right now on LinkedIn: Reels, long videos, text, tweet type text articles?
Hard question. I would say depends on the context, because there are some text written only posts that slap really hard. There's Reels, especially in North America, taking off because it gets pushed a lot. For example, in Germany, we don't even have the feature of Reels. So there's some context in between, but I would say it always depends on the quality. If it's either like, yeah, I don't know. I think I can't even put this into like a short answer, but I would say what I personally like, text plus photo.
Should the founder post content on his native language, or it is not usually that big of a market for content creation there?
I mean, wherever there are your ICPs. I mean, I think I posted 2 content pieces in German before switching to English. I'm so happy because it just gives you more coverage. You just reach more people. So,
But you work international, right? What if the
Mhm.
person works locally in Germany? So would you suggest him to still post in English?
No, 100%. If your ICP is only
Yeah.
Germany, you want the German market, go for it. But I know some people who have built very big businesses in Germany. They told me, man, I regret never posting in English in the first place, because what happens? Yes, you compare yourself with people who always posted in English and have the same business, and their business is most of the time bigger because you have a bigger market. So again, no one has to always build a super big business. I mean, if you have, if your goal is to make 6 figures, man, that's already insane amount of money. But then just posting in your native language is fine. I mean, if your market's in Germany, you post in German. In France, you can post in French, Spain, etc.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Plus, again, Spain, like Spanish is a huge language, right? Is Spanish top 3? I mean, probably not top 3. Okay, not top, or maybe it's top 3. It's cool.
Yeah, I think it's for number 1 is Chinese, then second is Hindi, and third is English, and then fourth is Spanish or something. Like I recently looked it up, might be wrong, but yeah, Spanish is tons of countries at least that are Spanish speaking.
Carousels or text posts?
Carousels.
Have you ever bought something from the cold outreach, email or DM?
I requested some materials. Two designers approached me,
Yeah, designers.
um, and they just didn't respond. I was super interested, and
Great,
so
great.
I never bought anything from it. But I mean, I've done it for lots of my clients myself, so I really know it can work really well.
Yeah.
Or long term, especially if you build connections and your sales cycle is long. But personally, no. I wish I would have bought anything from cold
No
emails,
worries.
and I
No worries.
received
All
tons.
good. Most followers gained in 1 month.
Oh, um, man, that's a good question. I would estimate like maybe 1,200, like something above 1,000.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Was it from one
Mhm.
of because the post went viral?
Yes, yes.
Which language you write better copy in, English or German?
Mm. I have more practice in English, but at the end of the day, it's my native language, so I feel uh, definitely still more fluid in German.
It's interesting because I speak Russian, and I mean, it's crazy. I can't literally speak about business in Russian. Like I feel so stupid. Like when I try to explain things, uh,
Mhm.
because I never talk on Russian like about business things, and yeah, it's just interesting to see.
That's true, by the way. I when I have conversations with friends, and like in Germany, I always tend to use English terms,
Yeah,
and they look at me. And when we talk about business briefly, but I feel you, man. That's
yeah. This is the
interesting.
part of the game of being the not the native English speaker.
Hmm.
There's a question that I ask every guest that comes in. If you have the access to unlimited capital as well as the best talent in the world for the next 30 days, but you cannot spend it on marketing or media buying, what would you build? Is there maybe it's a product that you're thinking about? Maybe there is some sort of a feature within the business that you've just sold. How would you allocate that?
Man, and I would use that money like I already have an existing company and I would have to grow it
Yeah,
or
you can only spend it on
um,
business, or you can launch something new. I mean, you can launch a new startup, maybe a product. I mean, you have everything that you wanted. You have the resources.
yeah, I would probably open up like I would probably start creating spaces where like either start events like right now I'm in Colombia and here it's really hard because there's not enough, let's say, tech talent
Mm-hmm.
here. Because I also wanted to launch some events here, but it didn't really make sense. But if I would probably allocate it to New York, the Bay Area, or Barcelona, and start like my own like get together or something. I think this is where there's right now a market opportunity that I see. I think it's there, but I can't pursue it because I don't want to travel all the time for events, etc. And I know you have to be there. But yeah, events. I would hire like great photographers, great DJs, just maybe like some local marketers that so I can be here in Colombia while they start organizing it. But yeah, I would probably use cold email campaigns to just invite everyone
Yeah.
from the like to the party. Because in my opinion, right now people really crave connections. I mean, that's why there's so many partnership managers starting at SaaS companies because they also know how important partnerships and connections are. So yeah, long story short, I would probably start something in the like event space. Or second one, if doesn't go well, open up a bar or a coffee place.
I,
Like,
I I keep
nice.
hearing this, like online founders are, if they would have everything, they would, go and do something in the physical world, not just in the
Yeah,
digital. space. That's interesting. Sonke,
Yes,
look, welcome. Sorry, not welcome. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate all the answers, and we'll talk with you soon.
Thank you so much, Eugene. It was a pleasure. You're a great host.
Take care.
Take care.
Cheers. Okay, guys. So that was Sonke. Now, don't forget, like and subscribe on all the platforms to receive more content like this. In the description, you'll see the coupon code to get the 10% off of your first instantly purchase. Now, we are going to be back live on Monday. Interesting weekend ahead for all the sport fans, right? Soccer, final. Also, it's interesting how I believe like more and more things are gonna come out regarding the Kimi K3. We'll see how it compares with the Claude and ChatGPT. Now, of course, I believe that all of these models from the Chinese market that we are not used to have a disadvantage of not being within an infrastructure of most of the services that we all use. And the guys, again, like Anthropic and OpenAI have their own platforms like Claude Code. But just as a model, I guess it makes them compete. And for us as consumers, it's always a win. Anyways, guys, we'll see you soon. See you on Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern. You have a good weekend. Take care.